Although you're careful about what you buy and try to leave packaging on land, trash piles up. The key to trash management on a weekend or coastal cruise is shrinking it down. But how? Hi, I'm Nika Waters, and on this episode of the Boat Galley podcast, I'm sharing Carolyn's best methods for compacting common trash on board. It'll save you space, and it might even save you money. Today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by FastSeas.com. Plan your next passage using FastSeas.com. Whether you are after speed or comfort, FastSeas will find the optimum route to your destination. FastSeas, making weather routing simple. Use coupon code GALLEY for an exclusive 10% discount. So what do you do with all your trash on board? Let's be clear. We're talking about coastal cruising or weekends out of the marina, not tips on trash management when crossing an ocean or extended cruising without decent trash service ashore. Both of those situations call for additional trash management. But one of the things that Carolyn learned on their very first charter in the BVI was just how much of a trash-generating society we happen to be. She and Dave were amazed by the amount of trash they had in just a few days. So obviously the first step is making smart choices when provisioning and getting rid of as much cardboard as you can before leaving the dock. But what then? Most boats don't have room for a very big wastebasket or a lot of room to store bags of trash. Compacting your trash is the answer. And Carolyn and Dave can easily go 3 weeks between trash runs without resorting to burning paper or throwing anything in the water. Remember that a lot of trash is actually air. Spend a little bit of time to squish it and save a lot of space. For instance, aluminum cans. They're probably the easiest thing to crush. Pinch the sides in a little bit, step down on them. Carolyn and Dave had a little piece of carpet that they crushed cans on so that it didn't mar wood or fiberglass. A reminder is to always try to rinse them out first in seawater to get rid of any drink residue that might attract bugs. And then they would keep the crushed cans in a totally separate bag. Why a separate bag? Most marinas will have a place for recycling. And in every little town and fishing village in Mexico and on land trips that they did in South America and Africa, there was always somebody who supports themselves by collecting cans and selling them. Plastic bottles. Plastic bottles are not exactly the best, friendliest thing for the earth, but sometimes that's the only way to buy something. Whenever Dave and Carolyn go walking, she takes along a bag and picks up plastic bottles. Basically, with plastic bottles, you have two options. You can crush them by taking the cap off, step on the bottle, and while still standing on it, put the cap back on so it'll stay crushed. The other option is to cut the bottle in half, put one half into the other one, and then stuff other trash into the open end to leave as little wasted space as possible. This is what Carolyn does with oil bottles, and it sometimes means that stuffing the other stuff into this space works better. Jars and tubs, plastic and glass jars, those also can double as garbage containers. Anything with a wide mouth and securely closing lid is great for collecting food scraps. Potato peelings, tomato stems, bacon grease, onion skins, eggshells, coffee grounds, all that stuff has to go somewhere. If you dump it in the trash, it's going to start stinking really fast and attract bugs. Instead, put that stuff into a jar that's already in the trash and put the lid back on it. In an ideal world, you'd probably find a compost pile to put this on when you go ashore, but we've never run across a public compost pile, so it does wind up going in the trash. Tin cans. It used to be so easy with tin cans, like the kind that food comes into, because you could cut both ends off, stick them in the can, and flatten it. And then they started making the cans where you can't cut the bottoms off. Sure, they stack better, but Carolyn used to think she couldn't crush those, but with a little practice, she discovered that she could, and it really cut down on the volume of trash aboard. If you stick the lid inside the can, semi-flatten the open end to get it started, you can then step down from the closed end to sort of fold it over. The bottom line, between getting rid of a whole lot of packaging before you leave the dock and compacting your trash, Carolyn and Dave went 2 to 3 weeks and only fill one kitchen size, a 13-gallon trash bag, which you could keep in the lazarette with some ease. There was just a small bin in the galley, and every few days, empty that small bag into the bigger bag. And then when you go into town or back to a marina or someplace where there was trash service, you get rid of the bigger bag. Another advantage of compacting your trash, in some places, you're charged a per bag fee for trash disposal. Why pay for 3 or 4 bags when you can just crush the contents and only have one bag? I can't wait to share an anchorage with you when we're not dealing with trash, because we've learned how to compact it and keep it down to a minimum. And instead, we can just toast to our good fortune at being able to share this incredible lifestyle together. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love hearing from our listeners. We love it when you share us with your friends. We love it when you don't forget to subscribe in your favorite podcast app. Have the most spectacular week.